You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to giving you the inside scoop on what's happening on the lakes and waterways of our region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Your host, V&M Baits General Manager Kevin Jean and Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Two guys with years of tournament experience with Pro-Am circuits like ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers willing to share their knowledge and to give you inside information to make you a better angler. So get ready to take some notes and learn exactly how anglers are catching the big stringers right here on Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome to Tackle Talk Live here on May 2nd of 2023. I'm Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean. And Kevin, today we're going to visit with another Kevin. His name is Kevin Creel. He's the winner of the Bob Seeley event on Sam Rayburn last week. And we also will have him on. We're going to get all the details, how he caught the big fish. I've actually talked to him a little bit already. Really good. Should be a really good interview. I'm looking forward to this because this guy does a really good job of describing exactly what happened, how it happened, and what they caught it on. I mean, he doesn't hold anything back. He has nothing coming up. So he's not a big tournament fisherman that, you know, fishes a bunch of major events. So he doesn't care who knows what. And all I know is that dude, he rode out there with a brand new boat, new truck, and about 12 grand. So what a great weekend for him.
Yeah, it was, Stephen. You know, for me, the interesting part about this story is he didn't catch this fish till Sunday evening, like 1 o'clock. Yeah. You know, so I want to hear his story, you know, leading up to it, basically catching it last minute, basically, you know, before he makes it to weigh-in. So I have not talked to him yet. I know anything about the story, so I'm very interested in listening to the story. For everybody listening, I want to apologize. I am having to do the show off my phone today. Internet service has went down at my office, so having to shoot the show off my phone today. So if I get grainy or if I sound weird every now and then, that's why, and I do apologize. But Steve got a good show lined out. We got the Bass Champs tournament coming to Toledo Bend this weekend. The Outlaw Outdoors Team Series number 4 is this weekend at Sam Rayburn. Then next weekend at Sam Rayburn is the Brandon Belt Tournament. So got a lot of things to cover in the fishing world here locally. Also top 6 results from the Toledo Bend top 6 results from the Bass Club Association. And also a new Bass Club Association is forming. We're going to talk about that. Who is forming it, give out their numbers. If you're interested, you can talk to them. So got a lot of stuff to cover today, Steve. And we've also got the ABA Solo 150 from Lake of the Pines. We'll give you guys a good rundown who won that, how that all shook out. Had, I think, 80 on 80 boats show up, 80 boaters / pros, whatever you want to call them, show up for that event. And it turned out to be a really good event. Weather played a role. I mean, we were there Tuesday through Saturday, and weather definitely played a role in this particular event. But we got this. We got lake reports, upcoming tournaments, all that and more today on Tackle Talk Live. We're going to take a short break. And when we return, we will have the interview with Kevin Creel right here live on Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry 2 of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins, as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garmin and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49 or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. Kevin Jean's on the other end down there, V&M General Manager. And this segment's presented by Toledo Health, the Boat Shop, and 3J's four-way home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. Anytime you're coming up I-49 headed for Toledo Bend, exit 127 off I-49, make sure you take that exit. Pull in there. It's right there, right off the interstate. Can't miss it. Just a great place to pick up some deli snacks, whether it's Crispitos, a burger, chicken, whatever you want, they got it. And they got a great selection of tackle, including just about everything V&M offers. Great selection of bait and tackle right there, Cypress Knee Outdoors. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we have the man who has, I'm sure, tried to figure out, how to divvy up all this cash he's won, and he's figuring out, who's going to keep the boat, who's going to get the truck. I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot to, plus his wife has got to be included in this decision-making process. Kevin Creel, the winner of the Bob Seeley Sam Rayburn event. And Kevin, man, welcome to the show, bud.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Kevin, man, go ahead.
Congratulations, man. Let's just kind of break it down. Before we get into the tournament, do you fish Sam Rayburn a good bit? Have you fished it this year? Did you get to practice before the tournament? Just kind of break all that down for us.
Yeah, no, I hadn't been there this year at all. I hadn't been fishing in a while. The weather's been kind of keeping me out of it. But, no, and I fish that thing, the Seeley tournament every year. Me and my buddy Kip, we fish that thing every single year. We're dedicated.
Well, I guess, Kevin, now you don't have to worry about the wife saying you can't go fishing anymore. I'm sure she's going to push you out the door now.
Oh, she is. She says she'd pay my entry fee next year.
Oh, hey, there you go. Let's go ahead and go into the technique that you were used. Tell us, of course, the fish was caught on day 3. Tell us how that fish, everything, the events that took place, and what bait you were using to catch the big fish.
Well, I tell you, actually, I caught it on a chatterbait. We had thrown just about everything in the box at them that day. We caught fish on Carolina rig. We caught some on spinnerbait. We caught a few of them on crankbait. And I threw that chatterbait earlier in the day and with no results. And it was a bad weather day, windy, rainy. And it was the last hour of the tournament. And, we were sticking it out. We had about 30 more minutes to fish before we had to take off. And if we caught something to weigh in, it was about a 30-minute run from that side of the lake. And lo and behold, got that big bite. And that was it, And we made the run, and the scale on the boat wasn't working. And we said, well, it was a big fish. We said, we'll just take a chance and see what it weighs when we get to the scale. And that's about how it's how it shook out.
Kevin, you said on a chatterbait, was it over grass, around stump? What kind of structure was you fishing with that chatterbait?
Man, we was fishing about 4.5 foot of water over spotty grass. and we'd fished that the day before, and we'd caught a lot of fish, just nothing big. We couldn't get over the 3-pound threshold, and we knew there was fish there. And we come back from Saturday, and well, I take that back. My buddy did catch a 4.42 and placed 12th on the Saturday on the hourly, and that was the biggest fish we caught up to that point. And but we knew there was fish out there, so we stuck it out, and we stayed with that pattern and fished that grass, and it paid off.
It was it north of 140, north or south of 147 Bridge? I know it's a lot of grass south, very little north. So I'm assuming you were south of 147 Bridge.
We were just south of it. I mean, you could see the bridge from where we was fishing at. I mean, we wasn't far. You know, I'd say probably a quarter mile, maybe south of the bridge.
Yeah.
And yeah. And like I said, the weather wasn't the best weather.
So you said you caught it in the last hour. I mean, how close was we cutting it here to getting back?
We had when we went the day before, when we caught that little over 4-pounder, it took us about 25 minutes to get to the weigh-in. So we figured weather was a little worse Sunday, so we figured 30 minutes. We had 30 minutes, and so we was going to fish till 1:30. And, you know, that was about as far as we could push it and get there on time and weigh a fish in. And so I caught it right at 1 o'clock on the money. And we got up there with about 28 minutes to spare to the end of the contest.
So you broke somebody's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old number one guy there, he wasn't real thrilled. I don't think I'm going to be getting a Christmas card from him this year.
Now, Kevin, you know, a lot of guys are using forward-facing sonar right now. Was that a factor at all in you finding or seeing this fish on sonar?
It was not. Matter of fact, all we could actually see was the grass down there, you know, as we moved around, and we actually got in a little deeper water at a couple points out there, and the old power poles wouldn't even hold us in position out there. It was so windy, and we got into about 9-10 foot of water, and then we drifted over and got in a little bit shallower water, and but it was electronics didn't help us at all, other than telling us how deep we were and where the grass was. That was about it.
Kevin, how did y'all decide to split the winnings? I mean, you got a truck, you got a new boat, you got $12 grand in cash. I mean, what you and your partner, did y'all have a prearranged agreement? How was that done?
We did. We had a standing agreement. Like I said, we've been fishing that thing for over 2 decades, and we decided if anybody wins any cash, we'll split it, and anybody wins up any prize, whoever wins the prize gets to keep it. So we split the $12,000, and I got to keep the truck and the boat. So anyway, wow. It turned out to not be too bad of a payday for him, but it was a lot better for me.
Yeah.
In the 2 decades y'all been fishing this thing, Kevin, is this of course it's the biggest prize you won, but is this the first time y'all been in the winnings, top 5 or whatever?
Yeah, never been in the top 5. Weighed in a few fish, and collected a check here and there, but never up in the top 5 at all. So this was
Kevin, overall, did y'all catch a lot of fish over the 3-day period? Was the fishing good at Rayburn during the 3 days?
It was pretty good. The first day we struggled. The first day we didn't hardly catch anything. I thought we was in the money. First fish I caught, and it come up, it had whiskers on it. I caught about a 7-pound catfish on a spinner bait. And so that wasn't too, I thought we was in the chips, but, wrong species. And but yeah, we caught fish Saturday and Sunday, both days. Like I said, Friday wasn't too good, but Saturday and Sunday we caught fish both days. Just nothing of any size other than the one that he weighed in, that 4.42 I think it was. and I think he got 11th place on the hourly weigh-in on that. So,
are you guys coming over to fish Toledo Bend?
Actually, my buddy's gonna be fishing there. He lives on Toledo Bend, and he's gonna be fishing. He's got a buddy of his coming down from Rhode Island, where he's from, and this guy and his friends gonna fish with him on that. And I know definitely he's gonna be fishing it. I think I'm gonna be out of town that weekend.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you've obviously already had Christmas. It's come early for you, Kevin, and congratulations. And looking forward to seeing how you do. You'll be a guy I'll kind of keep an eye on down the road, see how you do next year, and of course the year after that. And again, congratulations! A great win, and again, nobody does it better than Bob Seeley. It's just a tremendous event each and every year. They go all out, and they do what they say they're going to do. That's what makes Seeley what it is. And
exactly.
But anyway, Kevin, thank you, man. Appreciate your time, and looking forward to talking to you again down the road.
All right, man. Give me a holler. Enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it with you guys.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Kevin Creel.
Right, bye. Yes, sir.
All right. Good having Kevin. You too, man. Good having Kevin on today, and he did a great job describing Kev exactly, And at probably 1 o'clock, if you're on Sunday at 1 o'clock, your mindset is already, okay, it's time to load up and go home pretty quick. We ain't caught the big one. Probably not going to catch the big one. And all of a sudden, you hook up, and you're like, get the net. I mean, that had to be very satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of, proves the whole point of, fish till the very end, especially in those type of tournaments, those big fish tournaments. You just never know when it's going to come. But, Steve, even I mean, he caught it at 1. You got an hour, but, that has to be a little nerve-wracking knowing the size fish you have a 30-minute boat ride to get back. I mean, anything can go wrong in that time span. And if you don't make it back by 2 o'clock, you don't weigh in. Matter of fact, I heard from some guys that were fishing that tournament on Saturday, there was a gentleman that caught a 9-pounder. And as of Saturday, an 8-pounder was winning this event. There was a gentleman that caught a 9-pounder Saturday evening and did not make it to weigh in on time. So, in these big fish tournaments, if you catch one, like in all tournaments, you have to get back in time. And so I can imagine that was a little bit of an uneasy feeling, making that ride in, knowing that, you didn't have long to make it in. But, man, that just hats off. Sounds like he's, a great angler. Has been fishing the Seeleys for a long time, and it has finally paid off, and it paid off big time.
And that's the thing about Seeley, Kev, is that you're one cast. I mean, it's one cast. You're one cast away from winning basically almost $100,000 worth of merchandise, cash, boat, truck. I mean, you're one cast. I mean, that's got to be the appeal. And by the way, we got some stats on the Seeley when we come back after the break. We'll go over those stats. I kind of broke some things down, so I'll give you an idea just how good Rayburn is fishing right now. So when we return, we'll preview next week's, this coming week's Bass Champs on Toledo Bend. We'll wrap up last week's Seeley event on Rayburn, give you some stats on that I think you'll find interesting. We'll wrap up the ABA Solo 150 at Lake of the Pines, and Kevin's got the top 6 results from last weekend as well. And we'll preview the Brandon Belt Series, the show, as it is known. When we return, you're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches. 2 locations, one in Nacogdoches and one on the banks and shores of Sam Rayburn in Broadus, Texas. And so if you need insurance, they've got it. Truck, boat, house, whatever you got, they can insure it. Check them out, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches. Sealy turnout last week on Sam Rayburn. I got this straight from Nicole this morning, Kevin, and 3,000 anglers were entered for that event. They got to be pleased with that kind of turnout, especially with the economy the way it is. Gas prices they're kind of stable right now, but they're still high. But overall, they've got to be pleased with that. Here's some stats from the Bob Seeley tournament. 43 fish were caught and weighed over 7 pounds. 43. 14 fish over 8 pounds. And 4 fish over 9 pounds. No double digits, but big fish of the tournament weighed in Sunday between the 1 and 2 o'clock hours. Kevin Creel, 9.67. 16 hours of the hourly weigh-ins, 16 of the hours, it took a 7-pounder or better to win the hour. Out of those, that's to me, that's just strong. Average weight of the fish weighed in was a 4.31 pound fish, and so. Man, I tell you, I still am amazed, Kevin. I just shake my head at the number of tournaments that are on Sam Rayburn, and it seems like every single week they catch them over there. That's got to be a testament to the Texas Parks and Waterway.
Absolutely, it really is, Stephen. I am a little shocked it did not take a double-digit fish to win this, but when you spit those stats out, I mean, it basically took a 4 1/4 pound fish to get a check on average every hour. Every hour now.
That's 12th, that's 12th place.
That's 3,000 entries. That's a lot of people, but 4 1/4 to get a check. That's impressive. And that, yes, that is speaking to the Texas Parks and Wildlife and what great care they're taking of Sam Rayburn with the amount of pressure that it gets.
Yes, that's exactly right. And again, hats off to Bob Seeley and their staff, Nicole and the whole gang over there. They do a great job. And of course, next year, get ready, Sam Rayburn guys, $1 million. We'll have Bob on down the road to talk about that event and give you some good details as to just how much money he's giving away. It's their 40th anniversary of the Seeley Big Bass Splash Series, and they're going to up. Bob's always up in the game, and they're going to up it again even greater. There's no if they had 3,000 entries, Kevin, for this event. Can you imagine what a $1 million? There'll be people from all over the world come in here.
There's not enough boat ramps on Sam Rayburn.
There may not be. I mean, I don't know. I might just have to be over there just for the heck of it, just to see the crowd. That ought to be crazy. But anyway, Kevin, I think you got some top 6 results.
Yeah, so the top 6 tournament on Toledo Bend has been happening for Lord knows long time. Steve, this was the final year, my understanding, and it was a 1 day. It's usually a 2 day. My understanding, this is the final year for this tournament. It went from, I believe it either went from top 6 to best 6 or best 6 to top 6. I forget how all that worked out. But it's the club
split, wasn't there? There was a split.
There was a split for a little while, and then the other one went away. And it's just sad to see all this happening because, man, this is something, that's been around forever. And the bass clubs more so back then they are now. There's not as a big to do now as they used to be.
Yeah.
But there's still a ton of bass clubs out there. But the top 6 on Toledo Bend was like the tournament back in the day, 15, 20 years ago. The tournament, you had 6 members on a team, 2 people per boat. You have 3 boats. You weigh in your 9 biggest fish. And this year, the Hog Herders Bass Club weighed in 33.52 to win the event, 9 fish, 1 day. Toad Hunter Bass Club was second with 32.89, and the Marthaville Bass Club was third with 32.85. And again, Steve, what I'm hearing is this is the last year this tournament will have. The association is kind of falling apart. I don't know all the details behind it, so I'm not going to get into it. But I will say this: there is a new association being formed that has been formed by 2 local guys right there in Natchitoches, both really good friends of mine. It's going to be called the Southern Bass Club Association. They are getting their Facebook page made up right now. It will be basically a club association for the state of Louisiana that bass clubs can affiliate with and fish what they're going to have their Super 6 tournament every year at Toledo Bend. They're going to have board members from the north and south part of the state. It is put on so that the 2 guys that are putting this together, Shad Roberts and Grant Dowden. I'm going to give out the phone number in case anybody wants to contact them if you're interested. Shad Roberts is 318-332-8983. Grant Dowden is 318-471-6566. Again, their Facebook page is getting formed. It's Southern Bass Club Association. You can get the local bass clubs are all over the state. Clubs from all over the state can join the association, fish the Super 6 every year. Those 2 will do a great job, no doubt, with that association. And something that's needed because it's starting to fall apart in Louisiana. And it's just, man, it's a great tournament, and it's a great association for clubs to join and be a part of, compete against other clubs throughout the state once a year. So,
well, and as you've already alluded to, 2 guys that we both know personally, you could not find 2 better people to head up an organization than these 2 guys because they're going to be fair, they're going to be honest, and they're going to do it the right way. And I'm excited for this. This ought to be a really good deal by these 2 guys, and because we know their history. They're just class act people, and they will do a tremendous job of making this successful. So get ready, Louisiana. They're putting something good together, and it's going to be something special, I'll promise you, because I know both those guys, and they'll do a great job. All right, moving on. ABA Solo 150 results. Tough tournament. Let's just go ahead and say what it is. It was a tough tournament. Of course, somebody figures them out. It's a 2-day event. It was Friday and Saturday. Kevin is a guy that was there. Personally, it was a tough event. A lot of people are on the water. Oh, it was absolutely – Friday wasn't too bad, but Saturday there was 5 tournaments going on, including, I think, a 200-boat high school event. It was absolutely insane, the number, but you couldn't go 100 yards in any direction. Plus, there's a 20 to 25 mile an hour wind coming out the northwest right down the pipe. So that pushed everybody off the main lake and into the creeks. Yeah. All the backwaters, I mean, it was just a cluster, to be honest with you. But hats off. Arthur Johnson from Judson, Texas, came in with a 2-day total of 10 fish. He had 42.68 and to win this event. He had 21.48 on day 1 and 21.20 on day 2. Blake Schroed from White House, Texas, 10 fish limit, 39.57. He had 1959 on day one, 1998 on day two. Both those guys were very consistent. Lance Silvertooth from Kilgore, Texas. He had 39.29. Benji Gillette from Converse. We know Benji, 38.06 for fourth. Jeffrey Rice. We know Jeffrey. Visited with Jeffrey on takeoff for morning day two. Got to visit with him. He's from Shreveport. He had 37.24 for fifth. Jacob Williams was sixth from Westlake, Louisiana with 35.24. Jeffrey Kennedy from Longview, Texas was seventh with 33.71. George Wesley Dawson from Chester, Texas was 33.16 for eighth. And ninth was Brennan Flick from West Monroe, Louisiana. I believe he was leading it on day one. He was with 24.04. He was short of a limit on the day two. I think he had 4 fish on day one for 24.04. He had a 750 kicker. Day two, he only brought in 652. Looks like probably with 4 fish. But anyway, he finished ninth. Kevin Lazione, our good buddy, V&M Pro staffer, Kevin Lazione from Dry Prong, Louisiana. He finished 10th with 30.43. And Kevin had 15.82 and 14.61. And a good friend of ours that we all know, another great angler, Walt Stevens from Bernice, Louisiana, was 11th with 29.94. So, and again, the weights did drop off. Yours truly, I was in 25th. I had right at 13 pounds on day one, and I had three fish on day two. Just didn't have the size. I averaged probably 2.6 pounds a piece on day one. Had a good solid limit, nothing huge, but wasn't, I was right there. And, but day two, it just, my fish got small and it got crowded. And, and Kevin, as an angler, and I know, sometimes you got to back up and regroup on those kind of days and just say, okay, I'm obviously going to be fishing behind somebody the rest of the day. There's no place I can go that's not already been hit.
Right.
That's when you just got to put your head down and fish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And those are tough tournaments, especially on a body of water that's not as big as what we're used to, Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn.
Right.
That makes it difficult on all of us, is we're used to a big body of water. We can go get away from some people somewhere and go fishing. But it is, and it's difficult. But, I've been shocked, Steve, by Lake of the Pine weights. The week before, the BFL was over there before you guys, and the weights were not that great. Then I think it took 19 pounds to win it. And I'm used to Lake of the Pines really kicking out some bigger weights maybe. And I know you guys had, like day one, I think 24 pounds leading it. Day two in that 150, I think 22 bags was the biggest bag caught. So there were still some good bags caught, but the consistency for Lake of the Pines is not what it usually is. So I don't know what's going on there. If it's just time of year and the lake's crowded. I mean, that has a lot to do with it. Let's just be honest.
The 24.4 bag, like you talked about on day one of our deal, people were shocked. I'm just going to be honest with you, because all the locals I talked to practicing Tuesday through Thursday, they were like, man, it's only taken 18 the last 2 weeks to win. The BFL and the Fishers of Men took 18 pounds. And they were just like, they're shaking their head. Locals that live on the lake, and they were like, I don't know what's going on here. The fish just are not biting. And but they bit that Friday, I'm telling you, because there were some guys that brought in there was 3 bags over 20. And but that's more of what you can expect at Lake of the Pines on a typical spring tournament. And but again, overcrowding, I don't know, Kevin, how much it affects the fish. I think fish reposition maybe a little bit, maybe move out and suspend a little bit. I don't know what they do. It's
but the bad thing is it breaks up those fish that are biting. It starts putting those, instead of 3 in your boat, you get 1 of those compared to the guy in front of you who caught 1 of them. So that's what. And Lake of the Pines, for the size of lake it is, it gets a lot of pressure, and it's not. It's to hold a high school tournament like that and a tournament like you guys had as well on the same day, and all the practicing that went on with that. Again, the lake's just not big enough, I think, to hold a lot of those tournaments, especially on the same day.
I think one thing that's hurt Lake of the Pines is the fact that over the last 2 or 3 years, it's gotten a lot of PR with big bags coming out of there. And so tournament directors have looked at that and they said, let's go to Lake of the Pines. So now it's getting more fishing pressure. You're right, than it has in the past. And real quick, we'll back up to the BFL. Ernie Hildebrand, again, had 18.05 to win the BFL. Tater Reynolds, a good friend of the program. We know Tater personally. He finished second with 17.02. Travis Franks was third with 16.07. Nick Abshire was fourth with 16.01. And round out top 5 with Leon Johnson. He had 15.12. So, and a lot of bags between 10, probably 20 places between 10 and 15 pounds. So, solid weights, but again, not your typical Lake of the Pines the week before we got there. And, but anyway, so.
Talk about ABA Solo 150. That's your second tournament. So you got one more left, right?
Yeah, the next one's on Toledo being the last week of May, Memorial Day weekend. Going to be crowded. I mean, we all know that. Memorial Day, Toledo being, there's going to be people out there. So if you're fishing that, like I am, I'm already getting in the mindset. Don't worry about the crowd. Just go fishing. Right. Go do your thing. And I think that's the only way you can approach it, because you can get frustrated if you're not careful. You can really let it get in your head. But
I'm hoping to be there for that one. I'm hopefully going to try to jump in on that one as long as nothing comes up. Should be a good event.
Yeah, it should be a real good event. Again, we had 80 at this one. We were at 92, I think, at the first one, 80 at this one. So the numbers have been good for the solo. I've been very pleased. Chris Way, and tournament director, has done a good job. And so looking forward to seeing how this goes. Kevin, tell us about the Brandon Belt. Stop number 3 coming up at Sam Rayburn.
So it's next weekend is the Brandon Belt. I know they're off limits. They started off limits this week, goes into next week. I forget exactly what days their off limits is. But the Outlaw Team Series is there this weekend. So it is Outlaw Team Series is Saturday. Next weekend is the Brandon Belt tournament. And Sam Rayburn's fishing very well right now, as you can see from the Sealy tournament. So I'm looking for some really good bags, some fish starting to get offshore. There's still a lot of grass fish going on, as the guy that won the Sealy alluded to. Still a lot of grass fishing. The fish are really starting to get offshore over there and group up. So I'm looking for both the Outlaw Team Series this weekend and the Brandon Belt next weekend for there to be some really big bags weighed in.
Yep. Look, that should be 2 good events. Looking forward to having the results of that next week and seeing how it goes. And
and you have bass this weekend on Toledo Beach.
Bass champ results from this past weekend, this next weekend coming up. We'll have that as well. And real quick, we got to recognize a guy, Kevin, that Alton Jones Jr., Major League Fishing Heavy Hitters, was in Louisiana this past week. Fished Caney and Bussy Break, and I've never seen a margin of victory of 59 pounds for any tournament in my life, much less a professional tournament, but that's what Alton Jones Jr. did.
Yeah. I mean, I seen a stat, I think yesterday, Steve, he weighed in 80-something pounds, 86, I guess. I don't remember what it was, 80-something pounds on Bussy Break on the championship day. The entire rest of the field together, fish was like 92 pounds.
Yeah. Closest one was Dakota Ebert, our Louisiana boy, lives in Texas now. 22.15 was second, compared to 81.15 for first. That's insane, Kevin. That is insane.
He had it figured out, and I didn't get to watch the episode. I was traveling. I didn't get to watch it, but I was keeping up with it the best I could, and man, it was impressive. Just to do that. To say he had something special going on is an understatement.
Yeah, and we're talking the best anglers in the country. That you're beaten by that margin of victory is just, it's like the fishing gods said, today is your day, and we're going to shine on you, Alton Jones Jr., because I'm telling you, I just couldn't believe when I saw the result. I thought it was a misprint at first. And but congratulations, Alton. And by the way, I'll go ahead and let you know now. I'll have Alton Jones Jr. on as a guest on Hooking Up, Tracking Down tomorrow at 12 o'clock. You can tune us in on Facebook Live, Hooking Up, Tracking Down. We'd love to have you tune us in and hear that interview with Alton Jones Jr., how he did it, and how he pulled it off, and looking forward to that. Kevin, let's see. What else we got? Lake levels, real quick. Sam Rayburn's 164.48, difference of 0.96 inches, 10-day loss of 7.44 inches, 24-hour loss of 0.12 inches. Toledo Bend, looks like right now is also on the fall, 171.7. It's come down. That's a difference of 3.6 inches. So it's only a little less than pull down. 10-day gain, 7.2 inches. I guess that's the rain from last week there in East Texas that we got. 24-hour loss, 0.36 inches. And we go ahead and give fork each week. We know a lot of people fish fork. 402.01 feet is the present level. It's 11.88 inches low. It's had a 10-day gain of 2.52 inches and a 24-hour loss of 0.24. So there's your lake levels for the Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and Lake Fork.
And for Toledo Bend, Steve, they just started generating yesterday. The lake's been around above that 170 mark. They just started generating yesterday, and they're supposed to be generating nonstop 24/7. I don't know how long they'll generate. None of us know that. But they did start generating yesterday. So I'm expecting, for all these Bass Champs guys that are coming over fishing Bass Champs this weekend, you can check it out. As the week progresses, those water levels should keep steadily falling just a little bit. And we'll see at what point they cut the generating off. So all you Bass Champs guys, just kind of keep that in mind on coming on your way over. Steve, some quick house cleaning things going on here. I want to kind of update everybody on V&M. And as we've been posting on the V&M website, on the V&M Facebook page, we have V&M back up and running in Louisiana. We got it back here with a group of gentlemen in West Monroe. We've got everything up and shipping orders again, got the website back up and running. And so everything is good. Getting back to the old V&M, how we do things, how we've done things in the past. Internet is up and going. We got a few things we're still trying to get sorted out as far as items that we're getting in from the previous owners that bought it just for a short period of time. We're getting those back, getting things put on the shelf. I'm going to West Monroe tomorrow to get up there and kind of finish training, kind of get those guys' feet off the ground. But just keep, anybody if you're missing out on some V&M stuff, we're starting today, sending orders out to our dealers, getting everybody stocked back up. I know everybody's low and basically out of stock on a lot of things, but we're getting there. We're getting everybody stocked back up. And when I say, guys, it's going to be bigger and better than ever. V&M will be self-manufacturing all of its stuff, all of its plastics, all of its jigs. We're going to have some endless possibilities that we got going on. So really, really excited about the future plans we got going on with V&M now that we got it back in Louisiana and got it going back in the right direction.
Kevin, I speak on behalf of a lot of anglers when I say thank you for bringing that back to Louisiana, because I know what that meant to you as a person, the time and effort and all the sweat that you put into that particular company. And I am so happy that you've got it back with Cliff Pace and the other partner. I think that's great. We're happy for you, and happy to have V&M back in Louisiana where it belongs. So hopefully it'll stay there. And congratulations. Congratulations.
We'll be here for a time.
All right, I think it's gonna wrap us up. And if you are looking to fish the Solo 150, don't forget the deadline is May 19th. We'll keep harping on that over the next couple of weeks. Make sure you don't forget that. That is important because that's a week before the tournament actually starts. So, Kevin, anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Thank you for tuning us in. Please check us out on our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, podcast, every social media thing you can think of. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page, and Kevin will make sure he sends you a detailed packet of how to become a part of our sponsorship family. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.